All right, using shadows. So, shadows and using shadows in film is usually deemed as noir, right? That's what you think of when you think of shadows. You think of black and white, you think of Citizen Kane, George Orwell, you think of, these dark, really like Blade Runner-esque kind of films. You think of dark, gritty, right? Using shadows does not necessarily need to be dark. Right now, there needs to be dark elements because obviously you need to make it darker than the other thing. But using shadows can be a light kind of source. And using shadows can lead towards a light thing, right? It doesn't always have to be dark or deceiving or evil and negative, right? When using shadows, shadows can be very intriguing. Right? Now, using a shadow can brighten up something to represent light at the end of the tunnel. Using shadows can also represent memory, fond memories, people dancing, different things going on. There are so many different levels and different ranges of shadows that you can use to make an object pop. Shadows can become outlines of an actual figure, of maybe a lamp that's in the sun, and you take a certain light, hit at a certain angle to create a sharper contrast and a sharper shadow angle to really brighten up a color. There are many different things that you can do when you're using shadows. So when using shadows, one of the best things for you to do as a creative and as a filmmaker is to try to figure out how are those going to work with your story. What are you trying to tell? The absolute best use of shadows that I've personally seen, that I was like, I really, really like that, was in a TV show called Terminal List. It stars Chris Pratt, and there was this scene where it was 3 different characters. 2 of them, they're all in the military. He's the staff sergeant. There's, the captain or the commander, and then there's the representative in the room. And each person has a clear line down the side of their face, casting one side of their face in darkness and the other in light. The one that had the most secrets to hide still had darkness on his side, whereas Chris Pratt, the one who was without any secrets, had the most light on his face, and still it wasn't that lit. It was because it was showing their soul and how dirty they actually were. That was at least what I took from it. I loved that. I thought that was so unique and so cool. Now, obviously, that's a very negative and dark outlook, and that's something I just said. Hey, you don't need to go that far. But it is the best example that I can use that I found where I was like, I really enjoy how beautiful that is, and I really like how visually storytelling that you can create that kind of visual storytelling. You can show this character and instantly we can understand what's going on with them. Who's really the bad guy, right? When you go to shadows and different uses of trying to pull out different characters, different things, shadows and the light, right? When you look at The Thing, okay? So John Carpenter's The Thing, you have a really cool little Easter egg. Anybody that wasn't infected by the thing, right, had a key light in their eye. Anybody who was infected by the thing had no light. The key light represented a soul. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about, where it goes into the depth of a character, of trying to make something that is truly unique based off of the story that you're trying to tell. With George Orwell, he would use the different shadows and the different lighting to show their emotions and their feelings. When you go in, like there's actually been some commercials that I've personally done where I tried to use shadows on products to kind of show the differences between the two. I wanted to take this dog, and the dog is gross and kind of dirty, and then I would try to cast a couple more shadows on his face and on kind of what was going on, not to make him look depressed or nothing like that, but just to make it look a little dirtier, and it just looks a little darker. And then I would try to cast the shadow harshly on the ground when he was getting bathed to brighten up the top of him to look like, the dirt is and the grime and all the darkness is going away. And then afterwards I'd take out those shadows and make them really, really light, to show the clean dog, and it's in this sense of you're having a story motive of what am I telling? What am I trying to get across? What am I selling? Because you are selling a product when you think about it. Your film, your thing is, you're selling this. So if you are selling this, what are you selling? Why are you selling it? How are you selling it? Okay? All these things can be brought into your thought process. It's not rocket science, it's creativity. And if you are willing to go into that amount of depth on it, you can really pull, just from using just shadows alone, a lot from that to really make your story unique and make it different. but you have to be willing to go the extra mile and try something different, or to think more about your project. So many people don't sit down and think about their story and think about their film. What does it need? What is this? What is that? They think, oh, I need money, I need this, I need... You don't need any money to do the things I was just talking about. Those are multi-million-dollar sets. But the facts that I just brought out about them, you could do that by yourself with what you have. So think about that. It's all about you. It's all about your creativity. It's all about what box you put yourself in. If you don't put yourself in a box, you can really make some cool things with what you have. Even if what you have is a 2008 cell phone, you know, and a couple of flashlights. You can make something cool if you know what you're making and you make it creatively.